Huxley, what are you doing? Don't get your shoes all wet. You know? So I have Oakley, who is 8, Zaley, who is 6, and Huxley, who is 4. Those 3 are from my ex-husband. And then I have Renly here, my youngest, who is 7 months old. She was the light at the end of a very dark tunnel from the things that her father has done to me and is now being charged for. I do not want to ever have contact with him again.
Renly est née d'un viol. Elle a vu le jour dans le Wisconsin, un État qui interdisait il y a encore quelques mois l'avortement, même en cas de rapport non consenti. Comme Paige, elles sont plus de 65 000 à avoir connu un tel calvaire dans les États où l'IVG est proscrite depuis 2022. Une décision prise par 14 États conservateurs suite à la suppression d'une loi qui protégeait ce droit dans tout le pays. Nul ne sait à ce jour combien d'enfants sont nés d'un viol. Mais 2 ans plus tard, le droit à l'avortement divise toujours l'Amérique. Il est l'un des grands enjeux de l'élection présidentielle. Les 3 premiers enfants de Paige sont en garde alternée, mais elle élève seule Renly. Ancienne sapeur-pompier, elle est actuellement sans emploi. La jeune mère de famille de 28 ans vit essentiellement de ses économies.
Financially, yes, it's a huge struggle. I do get some benefits from the state. They help with medical insurance. They help with some food share, but there's other bills that come with daily living. The cost of living is rising. Gas to travel. I don't feel like there's enough help out there, especially for single moms.
Paige doit aussi assurer seule la sécurité de sa famille. La procédure judiciaire qui vise le père de Renly est toujours en cours. Libéré sous caution dans l'attente d'un procès, il l'a déjà menacé à plusieurs reprises.
I am afraid of him, yes. I need this for the protection of my family and myself because he has threatened to kill me multiple times. He's assaulted me multiple times. He's also threatened harm on my family. And I believe his actions and his words are true enough to believe that he would actually follow through.
Pendant des mois, Paige a vécu sous l'emprise du père de son bébé. Un calvaire qu'elle a eu le réflexe de documenter.
So these are some of the evidence of the injuries that I received. In this picture, you can see my entire neck is bruised, and then you can also see his handprint that goes up my face. His fingers go up here. So this is him coming to my residence when I wasn't home, getting angry that the door's not unlocked, and hitting my doorbell camera and ripping it off of the door. So he has slapped me, he has punched me, he's strangled me, he has sexually assaulted me. I honestly can't give you a number of how many times the sexual assaults have taken place.
Paige a connu une première grossesse issue d'un viol. Son compagnon l'a alors forcée à avorter dans un État voisin où la procédure est légale. L'expérience a été pour elle très traumatisante. Puis, la seconde grossesse est arrivée.
No, I did not want to experience that again. The first experience I had was very traumatizing. The abortion itself was traumatizing. And the experience, the driving there with him, he made the entire experience very, very hostile. It's the worst decision I've ever had to make in my life. Nobody should ever be put in a position that I was in to have something so traumatizing happen to me, to result into a pregnancy, and then to have to sit there and make a decision, and that decision was partially taken away from me, because if the abortion was the path that I wanted to take, I had to travel, I had to make time in my daily life schedule, I had to arrange childcare for my 3 living children, I had to take time off of work, I had to financially be able to afford it. So Wisconsin not having abortions legalized played a huge impact on my decision making to keep the pregnancy.
En seulement 2 ans, plus de 65 000 femmes ont déjà dû faire face à ce dilemme. Si le phénomène avait été annoncé, les Américains viennent seulement d'en mesurer l'ampleur. Grâce au travail d'une équipe de chercheurs dont fait partie la sociologue Carrie White. Elle travaille au Texas, l'État qui connaît le plus grand nombre de grossesses issues d'un viol.
We don't know how many of these over 60,000 pregnancies ended in birth or ended in abortion. Unfortunately, those data just aren't available. But we know from some of our other research, we have interviewed people who have become pregnant as a result from rape and were able to get an abortion, and it really just provided an immense amount of relief for them to be able to move on from this experience. And we also know that people who were in unsafe relationships and who were unable to get their abortion that they wanted were more likely to stay in those relationships as a result of these bans and other restrictions.
Malgré les efforts des conservateurs, le nombre total d'IVG pratiquées aux États-Unis n'a pas diminué. En 2023, plus de 170 000 Américaines ont voyagé à travers le pays pour bénéficier de la procédure. Nombre d'entre elles se sont rendues au Kansas. C'est là aussi que le docteur Sandoval a choisi d'exercer son métier.
I'm actually from Northern California. I grew up there and stayed there through high school, and then moved to the Midwest for my medical school. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall once Trump was elected that Roe would fall and that Kansas would become such a significant destination for abortion care. Something that's really important about Kansas is that geographically it's located immediately above all these southeastern states that have abortion bans. And so we are geographically the closest site for a lot of these patients to travel to. And so it was really important for me to return to Kansas City.
Le docteur Sandoval est gynécologue obstétricienne dans une clinique du planning familial. Un organisme à but non lucratif, au cœur de toutes les tensions.
These people over here are protesters. They are a group of anti-abortion extremists. They're actually paid to protest her clinics. This is their full-time job. They harass every patient that comes in. That man with the bullhorn is here most days, and my favorite thing he said to me is, when you were a little girl, did you know you would grow up to be such an ugly woman? That's my favorite one. But usually he talks to me about my soul and how I'm going to hell. I am waiting now for my security guard to come out. Here he is. This is James.
James, comme tous les agents de sécurité de la clinique, est armé.
We're very protective of the layout of the clinic in case we were to have like a shooter or some sort of attack on the clinic. The most recent abortion provider to be murdered was actually in Wichita, Kansas. His name was George Tiller. That was in 2009. And as you can imagine, the anti-abortion extremists like to use intimidation and as a fear tactic to prevent other providers from coming to the state and providing care.
En moyenne, la clinique accueille 35 patientes par jour. Les 3/4 d'entre elles viennent d'États où l'avortement est interdit. Par peur des conséquences, la plupart refusent de témoigner. Cette jeune Texane de 23 ans finit par accepter. Elle a parcouru 800 km pour venir jusqu'ici.
It was a long process. I'm still dealing with it. It's very hard. Being a mom of 2 under 2 and feeling like I'm in a relationship but feeling like a single mom at the same time is very stressful on me physically and mentally, and I wouldn't be mentally okay.
And about your children, like is it your...
They're with my mom. She doesn't know I'm here. This is like a secret I'm gonna have to keep. So I feel like it's gonna be very hard for me emotionally because I'm not gonna be able to tell anybody. Sorry.
No. Hi there. I'm Dr. Sandoval. How are you? I don't use any audio, and then I'll just turn the screen away from you just like this, okay?
I feel like I'm just numb right now. Nervous, scared.
Okay.
I didn't want to hear or see anything because I feel like I would feel really guilty.
About the fact that you had to leave the States, like how did you like organize?
Having to travel to Kansas made it way more difficult because we had to purchase plane tickets. It's just a lot, and my insurance obviously doesn't cover it because I have a Texas insurance. So it's just a lot. We're literally spending like $2,000 just coming here to do this. Oh, that is a lot of money. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I don't work.
Unfortunately, this is the situation that I see every day. 75% of my patients are coming from either Texas or Oklahoma. On average, our patients are driving about 6 to 9 hours to get to us. It's incredibly frustrating. No one should get healthcare based off of their zip code. Everyone should have access to the same exact healthcare, and that's just not the reality that we live in the United States anymore. And we provide as much as we can, but obviously we're limited by time, staff, and keeping everyone safe as well. Only about 20 to 25% of the people who call us are even able to get an appointment here.
À l'extérieur du bâtiment, les militants anti-avortement tentent d'arrêter les véhicules pour les dissuader d'aller plus loin. Mais des contre-manifestants sont là pour les en empêcher.
You can just drive right through. I'm sorry about the protesters.
I have information about free services.
Abortion is murder. That's what's happening in this building. That's what people are doing here. People do it in their homes. They do it in this building. The Lord God created us in His image, commands everyone. We're made by nature to worship Him.
Mind your own business, Clifton.
Everyone is a slave
Mind your own
to a
business,
master.
Clifton.
Opposants à l'avortement et contre-manifestants s'affrontent chaque jour devant la clinique. Certains sont rémunérés par des organisations religieuses, comme ceux qui portent des vestes oranges. D'autres, comme cet homme au mégaphone, viennent ici sur leur temps libre.
God says don't murder. He regards a pregnant woman to be with child. So I plead with the women not to murder their children and let us help them. Whatever the reason is, there's an answer. This isn't it. So that's it.
Do you think God wants babies to be born out of rape?
Yes. Because He is the sovereign Lord over the universe, and He says do not murder. But when a woman is pregnant, the circumstance is irrelevant to whether it's okay to murder your child.
We can leave it at your God is impossible. Let's leave it at that, and you can get the fuck out of here.
Les anti-avortements ne s'en tiennent pas qu'aux mots. Juste en face du planning familial, ils ont financé un centre qui ressemble en tout point à une clinique. Selon cette volontaire pro-IVG, cette stratégie a déjà induit en erreur de nombreuses patientes.
The first thing they see coming down that is pregnancy and abortion information, and many times being confused. I mean, they know they're in the right area, but they'll turn in there. That building is what is commonly known as a crisis pregnancy center. It is anti-choice. They provide information about pregnancy resources, about adoption. They try to give them all of these options so that they will not choose to have an abortion.
Ce centre a refusé toutes nos demandes d'interview. Mais il en existe des milliers comme celui-ci aux États-Unis. Nous décidons de nous rendre dans l'un d'entre eux, équipés d'une caméra cachée. Une de nos journalistes se fait passer pour une femme enceinte. La consultation est sans rendez-vous et totalement gratuite.
So what we can do today is talk about what your options are. But let's start with abortion. So this also lays out the possible complications or adverse effects. So some of those can be heavy bleeding, infections, incomplete abortions, nausea or vomiting, diarrhea, fever, chills, dizziness, headache. Some women have had an abortion and a couple months later have realized, oh, I've felt a connection with baby and have felt very impacted emotionally down the road. Hear testimonies from other women who have gone through that. This can be a helpful tool. Otherwise, would it be helpful for you to talk with another person on staff with us who's gone through an abortion before?
Après avoir listé toute une série de risques liés à l'avortement, cette conseillère évoque progressivement des alternatives.
What do you know about adoption?
Not so much, actually. I don't know how it works.
Okay. This is just a brief overview of what the different types of adoption are. First one is open adoption. With open adoption, you're identifying information such as last names and contact information that's shared between you and the adopted family. So then you would have contact with your child as much or as little as you would like. With this, you would obviously still carry to term, and a lot of families offer to pay for medical bills, different medical appointments that you'll have to go through with prenatal care. We are a fully licensed adoption agency if this is something that you would be interested in considering.
Derrière les croyances religieuses se cache aussi un business. Après avoir convaincu des femmes de garder leur bébé, ce centre propose des services d'adoption. Selon leur site internet, la procédure peut être facturée jusqu'à 19 000 € aux familles adoptantes. Seule une fraction des quelques 4 000 centres que compte le pays possèdent une telle habilitation. Mais tous proposent de faciliter les démarches. Face à la puissance du mouvement anti-avortement dans les États conservateurs, de nombreux gynécologues n'osent plus s'exprimer publiquement. Au Texas, les docteurs Atkins et Palmer refusent de céder à la peur. Nous commençons par leur présenter les documents remis par un centre de grossesse non désirée.
I see propaganda.
Yes.
Abortion is a safe procedure. So the risks when they talk about is abortion safe, they talk about you could have infection can occur anytime that there's a pregnancy and open cervix. Emboli, these are blood clots. This is more at risk if you stay pregnant than if you have a termination. Death, yes, pregnancy is a very high risk of death.
Right. But abortion,
no.
Less so than staying pregnant till term.
Absolutely. If I wanted to adopt a baby, this would be the last place I would go, because I feel like they're basically forcing and almost stealing the babies because the women didn't want to have a baby.
L'État du Texas est l'un des plus répressifs en matière d'avortement. Gynécologue y est devenu une profession à haut risque juridique.
If we perform an abortion, we can go to prison for murder. We have our medical license immediately revoked. It is a very harsh and swift penalty structure. Senate Bill 8, which is a law that basically empowers the general population as bounty hunters. So if I have a patient come to me and say, I want to terminate pregnancy, if I aid and abet, so if I give her information or I tell her where to go, In theory, I could be charged in a civil suit for $10,000 and held liable for that conversation by anyone. It could be the Uber driver who drove the patient to her appointment here. It could be her grandfather, her sister, her neighbor. But Barrett,
en cas de condamnation, cette loi permettrait même au délateur de recevoir une somme d'argent. Aucune poursuite de ce type n'a pour l'instant abouti, car les lois qui encadrent l'avortement sont souvent très floues. À ce jour, l'avortement n'est légal au Texas que si la vie de la mère est en danger. Mais il n'existe aucune définition précise.
The laws are so complicated and they're so vague and they're so poorly written that I think a lot of physicians are really unclear as to what we really are allowed to do. Almost all of our partners have of inheriting a patient or having a patient come in as a new person to us who was turned away from getting their ectopic pregnancy treated somewhere else locally. That's a life-threatening emergency.
And when we decide that the mother is sick enough that we really have to intervene, or she won't make it, we have to fill out a form for the state documenting that we violated the law for this reason. And then they accumulate those. I don't know what they do with them. These things are ridiculous. It makes me angry. I have no fear. I'm angry.
Un groupe de femmes a récemment poursuivi l'État du Texas pour lui demander de clarifier la loi. La Cour suprême de l'État a refusé de statuer, laissant dans l'incertitude les médecins et leurs patientes. Dans le Wisconsin, le droit à l'avortement a été temporairement rétabli. Mais pour de nombreuses femmes, il est déjà trop tard. Dans les prochains mois, Paige va tenter d'obtenir justice devant les tribunaux.
I had to drop the kids off today because today is an important day in the aspect of court because it's the arraignment hearing today. He's got a total of 22 counts against him. 4 of them are felonies. So today is the day that determines how he pleads, whether it's going to go to trial or not. And we suspect that he's going to plead not guilty.
Ce jour-là, l'audience doit se tenir en visioconférence. L'oncle de Paige est venu lui apporter son soutien.
Hey Kurt, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. You ready?
Yeah.
So right now we're waiting for the arraignment hearing to start. I am feeling stressed because you watch this date on a calendar from the day it's made up until now. I've almost dreaded today. I have to encourage myself to continue to keep moving forward, and it takes a lot. It's exhausting.
Numbers of participants, so I apologize for that. We are set today on both cases for arraignment after preliminary hearing held. Have you and your client received and reviewed copies of the information in each case?
We have reviewed the information, Your Honor. We will waive any formal reading. We'll enter pleas of not guilty on Mr. Johnson's behalf to all counts of both cases.
And I'm leaving my Clark County case open.
They're dragging that out, ain't they?
Yep. Buying them more time.
They're dragging this out, which isn't good because he's nuts and she's not safe as long as he's not in jail.
And I do worry about what her future's going to be like You know, are people going to be accepting of her? Is she even going to be accepting of herself? Knowing the background when she does find out. I don't honestly know what to do or when the time would be right to tell her if it came to that. But I feel it's only right to tell her, to have it come from me. She will always know she is loved. Whether she is a child of rape, came from a violent situation, she's always and will be loved.
Le procès du père de Renly doit avoir lieu dans les prochains mois. En attendant le verdict, il a interdiction de s'approcher de Paige et de ses enfants.